I grew up believing that there is a God that most Filipinos do. But, like Karen, my wife, I felt like this was enough for me to do all my life like joyfully and freely. During my teenage years, I thought having a good and bad friends around was okay. I thought trying all sorts of vices was okay, and I had to do was to ask for forgiveness like afterwards. Then everything will be okay, and it's kind of like a reset. I was so selfish back then, and I wanted to do what thought was fun to do. Yeah, when I got married, I stayed the same. At some point in my married life, I started thinking more about God, but I was so distracted that I put him at the bottom of my list, saying like, no, not my priority. In fact, my family was not my priority either, and I myself, what I want to do was my priority during these times. Until 2019, when God had to put me in a hospital bed in a life-threatening condition to have me, listen and focus on Him. This is where my real journey with God amazes me. During the time at the hospital, I didn't get a feeling that I was alone and dwelling on my illness. In fact, I was enjoying watching like sermon after sermon from one church to another. And I found the church where we usually go to the Philippines before we go to Watermark. I saw how I needed my wife as well, how I needed God spiritually. During this time I was questioning myself, like, am I just being like this because I'm sick? Oh, and I know that only God could help me. But day after day I know the answer to my own question, and I began to see the plan that God really has for me. Even till now, I always like thank God that like He put me in that hospital bed. I never see it as a suffering, but I will always see it as a blessing. God has shown me so much in a short amount of time, and that has changed my life. How I look at my family now, how I will communicate with my kids, and I would prioritize time with the family. God is really amazing at His plan, and even if the process is painful, it will really turn out more beautiful than you have expected. God has shown me how all this wrongdoing have affected my life, understanding and relationship, and how I see people around me, especially my family. It was so selfish and dark. The new life that God has given me when He, forgave all my sins and trespasses is incomparable, full of love, trust, and understanding. I haven't learned that I can't, rely on my own understanding, because if I do that, I will like fall again and again. I am not, strong enough to face all temptation like coming on my way, and I'm not saying that I will not sin anymore, but know that even at my weakest, I need God, and He always be there to show me that I'm not alone in the battle. I just have to remember the words in my heart and what He has done for me, and He will always be my salvation. I know that I am weak, and Christ is always support us in all this. This leads me to pray before, my day start and before it ends. He has always reminded me that no matter what I have done in the past, His love is unconditional, and he can always remember, or he can always like redeem me. I think God is like every day for what He has done. I thank God every day for what is done in my life. Though we have surrendered everything to God, my journey doesn't stop here. For me, it is just the beginning. But with God, I can say I'm ready to face whatever may come our way. God has proven His sovereignty to me, and whatever He has for me, I trust Him. Prayer is my defense.